In Viking times, picking a date for a wedding was a complex process. Traditionally, weddings were held on Fridays, which were considered sacred for Frey, the goddess of marriage. The weddings typically lasted a week, and guests had to travel from faraway places to attend. Winter weddings were challenging due to the difficult travel conditions caused by snow. The wedding party had to make arrangements for accommodations, food, and drink for all the guests throughout the ceremony. Additionally, a special ale was brewed for the bride and groom to consume as part of the ceremony. Planning such weddings often required a long timetable. In Norse culture, weddings usually took place within a year after all the negotiations were settled. However, Vikings in Iceland, who frequently traveled to Norway, sometimes faced 3-year waiting periods to find an ideal date that worked for everyone involved. Before the wedding, Norse brides and grooms were separated. This separation allowed them to symbolically shed their former selves and prepare for their new lives together. The bride would get rid of old clothing and symbols of her unwed status, such as the kransen, a gilt circlet worn by Scandinavian girls. The kransen, representing the bride's virginity, would be stored for the bride's future daughter. During the wedding ceremony, the kransen would be replaced with a bridal crown. Prior to the ceremony, the bride would cleanse herself in a bathhouse, where hot stones were used to produce steam. Women would also use birch twigs to induce perspiration, symbolically washing away the bride's maiden status. The bath would conclude with the bride plunging into cold water to close the pores and complete the cleansing process. Throughout these preparations, the bride would be attended by female relatives and friends. Similarly, the groom would undergo symbolic rituals before entering married life. His father, married brothers, and other married males would accompany him. To rid themselves of bachelorhood and embrace married life, Viking men would participate in a symbolic sword ceremony. This involved breaking into a grave to retrieve the family sword of an ancestor. Through this action, the groom would symbolically enter death as a boy and emerge as a man reborn. These rituals and preparations were significant in Viking weddings, as they symbolized the transition from unmarried to married life for both the bride and groom.